So now that we know that our unequip and equipping, all that stuff is functional, we want to go ahead and remove these properties here off the firearm and move them into a data asset. So this is going to be the same data asset that is going to pretty much describe the firearm itself. So it'll contain, what animations to use, what sounds to use, the ammo capacity, magazine size, ammo reserve, uh, abilities, stuff, all of it. So to begin, let's go to our firearm here and go ahead and add a Unreal class with the parent being the SKG PDA firearm. And then we're just going to name it PDA underscore firearm. So we can go ahead and make a public section and then take these properties here that we just had, cut and paste. Now I'm going to make these blueprint read only, just on the off chance that we need to for whatever reason. And also add the meta of asset bundles. So the bundle for this is going to be animation, and we're going to put it on both properties. So the only thing to do now is change T object pointer to T soft object pointer, like so, and then change this to T soft class pointer. So from here, we are pretty much ready to use this. So the only thing we have to do now is go to our firearm.cpp, go to the constructor, and what we want to do in here is set the bundles to load. So we want to add onto this. And the one we want to add is going to be animation. So this way, the firearm bundles will also include any bundles labeled animation. So it'll load those into memory. Once we have that, we can go ahead and basically fix these two functions here, which means we need to access the DA construction. So DA construction. However, it is the wrong type, so we need to cast it. And I'm going to make kind of like what I do everywhere else, basically just a simple getter for this. So we're going to do, what's the type? UPDA firearm, forward declare, get PDA firearm. And inside of here, if PDA firearm is invalid, which we need to make, we need to set it, and then we will return it. So let's go ahead and make a U property. It's going to be a T object pointer of UPDA firearm called PDA firearm. So now that we have that, we can simply do PDA firearm equals cast to UPDA firearm, and we're casting from DA construction, which is automatically on the parent class here, the SKG firearm actor class. So we just got to make sure we include it, and we are good to go. So now all we have to do for the unequipped montage, get PDA firearm, grab the unequipped montage, dot get. And then same thing here, get PDA firearm, upper body layer, dot get. And that should return them as needed. So from here, let's go ahead and test it out so we can compile and launch. Okay, once we are back inside the editor, there are some small things we have to do. So first off, we have to make it utilize these new data assets. So we head over to into data assets, weapons. Let's go to the 1911, and we're going to modify the parent of these two. So let's select DA 1911, convert to different data asset type, and that type is going to be PDA firearm. So it's going to be this top one here. And then do the same thing to the BAR. It's going to be, again, this top one because it's the C++ one. The one that has the path is blueprint, which we actually should probably consider deleting. So let's open up the BAR, and 1911, and you can see they now have these two properties. So let's set the 1911 to the 1911 unequip, and the upper body layer to the 1911, save, and close. Let's do the same thing here to the BAR, save, and close. Then in our project settings, go to Asset Manager. We need to update this as it is no longer SKG PDA Firearm. It is now the PDA Firearm. So again, search for Firearm. And again, we don't want the one with the path. We want the C++ version. And then just name it PDA underscore Firearm. The path stays the same. So we can go ahead and save all. Okay, now let's go to our player pawn. So core, pawns, player pawn. And under here, for the spawn actor, we are no longer going to do the temp firearm. We are instead just going to do firearm. Like so, and like so. They have the same data assets. Compile, save, and give it a try. So we wait 2 seconds. And we are currently crashed. So let's try to figure out why. So specifically, it's on resolve object. So line 27, which is where we are trying to use the upper body layer. So what we want to check is, let's just, to make this a little bit easier for us, let's just make sure that PDA Firearm is in fact valid. So we're going to do a ensure, actually let's do a checkf. So get PDA Firearm, and if it is invalid, we're just going to say PDA Firearm is invalid. So that'll just kind of let us know, and we'll do it in both places. So now let's go ahead, recompile, and relaunch, and just see, if we happen to hit those assertions. Okay, once we are back in the editor, let's go ahead and just press play again, and kind of see where we are at. So let's see what happens. Obviously we crash. Let's see if we hit the assertion. So PDA Firearm is invalid. So something is incorrect here for one of these. So, that would be why. Because we are checking if the PDA Firearm is valid, then we set it, and then we return it. So this is never actually being set. So we need to make it so if PDA Firearm is not valid, then we go ahead and set it. So now let's go ahead and give this a try. All right, once we are back in the editor, go ahead and just hit play again and check it out. So there we go. We equip the 1911, we unequip, and we equip the BAR. So everything seems to be good there. Let's do the same thing as clients. So play as client, and we'll do 2 viewports. Let me drag this one down so we can see each other. So we both have the 1911 equipped, and we both equip the BAR. So everything seems to be going well there. So the only things really left to kind of do, at least for now, is to work on kind of the remainder of the animation blueprint, as well as the actual attribute set and all that kind of stuff. So basically the ability related stuff, where we can, when we have a firearm equipped, we get granted blank abilities, such as shooting, aiming, reloading, changing. Well, no, we'll always be able to cycle to the next weapon. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So we're going to end up diving into that shortly, but I want to go ahead, and this will be in the next video anyways, getting the remainder of the animation stuff done. So for example, as to what I'm referring to, we currently are walking around the A pose. I don't want to do that. I want to split the upper and lower body to have locomotion, as well as have the upper body procedural anim layer running as well. So we need to finish and get that part set up. So I will see you in the next video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description below, where you can also gain early access to this entire series.